Hello, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new Fast and Furious movie, Fate of the Furious. Now, what did I think of this movie just to get started, so that way I don't really have to talk too much into detail if people just want a quick review? This is probably going to be somewhere in my top 10 favorite films of the year. Right now, it's my second favorite film I saw this year behind Power Rangers, and if this isn't in my top 10 by the end of the year, then we're probably going to get some really high quality films later on in the year. But aside from Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man, and Thor, there's not much else I'm looking forward to this year, but there could be a lots of diamonds in the rough after that time goes on. But anyways, what did I think of this film? Like I said, it's my second favorite film of the year so far, so it's pretty fantastic. This film, it's just pure raw entertainment. It's not something that you can just go into and expect some art house thought-provoking film. It's just an action film, and it excels at that in every regard. Now, the two characters, though, that I have to say steal the show are Jason Statham and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. No one steals the screen more than those two. They have the best screen time. They have the best quirks. They really do steal the movie whenever they are on screen. They are my favorite parts of the film. And I heard a rumor that they might be doing a spin-off with just those two. And I would probably see that movie so many times if they did it that I'd probably be the main reimbursement for their money because, like I said, they're the best part of this movie. The action scenes with them in it are basically fantastic. There are scenes that involve Jason Statham where I swore it could have just been Crank 3. Like, this is some unofficial Crank 3 sequel that we never got. And yeah, I can they just stole the show. Like, I promise you, if you see this movie, they're going to be the best part of the movie. Now, don't get me wrong, everyone else does fantastic as well. I mean, there's no Oscar-worthy acting in this film, but everyone does their job fine. But those two have the quirks, they have the best action, they have the best set pieces. They are the people that steal the show. But let's talk about Vin Diesel real quick. Obviously, the big twist in this movie is that Vin Diesel has apparently gone bad. And obviously, there's a big reason as to why he's doing that. He's not actually the bad guy of this film. There's a big conspiracy thing going on in the film, which is very unexpected for something like Fast and Furious. Well, kind of, but it's the darkest part of the movie. The movie isn't overtly dark or depressing or anything like that. It's just particularly the darkest part of the film. But by the end of the film, it's just so ridiculous how they handled it that it kind of makes up for it in the end. Just don't take that plot point too seriously. And it involves a character that I didn't even remember because I wasn't a big fan of the early Fast and Furious films. I didn't like the first four at all. My friends made me sit down and watch Fast and Furious, that was just a drag. I really hated that film. Fast 5 came out. I didn't see that in theaters, but I saw it when it came out on DVD, and I thought it was okay. Then Furious 6 happened, and I thought it was awesome. Then Furious 7 happened, and I thought it was even more amazing. And then this film happened, and I was like, okay, I'm in love. I'm officially a full-time fan of this series, and I'll see every film that comes out after this. This is my favorite one in this series. I think it has the most well-handled action, and when it goes insane, it goes completely insane. I mean, off the wall crazy. It rains cars in one scene, and my jaw dropped. I was laughing throughout this entire movie. The action was just that freaking fun. Now, I think the people in the theater thought I was crazy because I went by myself and I sat more towards the front because it was kind of a small screen, so you had to sit a little closer. But the audio in that theater was actually really well handled, I thought, because, like I said, it's a smaller theater. And I'm just in the front row. There's literally no one in front of me, just a bunch of people behind me. I'm the only one in that row. And I'm dying of laughter at these action scenes because of how ridiculous they are. And the movie knows they're ridiculous. They're just having so much fun. The actors are having fun. The action is having fun. The director's having fun. At least I hope they were. I heard there was some beef between Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson in this film. And I hope that was just a publicity stunt because I don't like it when actors struggle with each other. Just have fun with the movie. And I understand not everyone can get along all the time, but that is kind of depressing to think about if that is true. But watching the film, you just don't think about it because of how fun it is. Like I said, the action is just fantastic. I haven't seen any movie where it rained cars before, and then there's a submarine, The Rock throws a torpedo at another car. That was just fun. I was like, wow. I'm sorry if I'm kind of just rambling with this, but that's kind of how this movie made me feel. I just want to just talk about this film because of how much I just pure enjoyed it. There's not a lot of flaws with this film. Obviously, it's campy, but that's the point. If like, I'm not going to go into this movie thinking it's going to be some Ben-Hur level quality film. I'm going into this movie thinking of it just as a straight up action film, and that's what I got. It's exactly what I wanted. It had good acting, good action, good characters. It, like I said, this is my favorite in this series. I think they get better as they go on. Like I said, don't like the ones that are just straight up about car racing, and I know there are hardcore fans who believe that those are the best ones, but I'm sorry, but you're wrong. I'm kidding. If you like those movies, obviously you're allowed to like them. If you think they're the best ones, please don't rip my head off for saying that. These are basically like the Saints Row of films. Anyone who's played the Saints Row games knows what I'm talking about. The first set of Saints Row games are basically GTA clones. Well, the first two at least. I did like the second one. But then the third one came out and went completely crazy. And then the fourth one came out and just said, screw it. And that's basically how this film series handled. You get a few car racing films, and then you just get a bunch of straight up, pure, raw action films. And this film does open with a pretty intense car race, and I thought it was really, really well handled. It's not my favorite scene in the movie. My favorite scene in the movie is the Jason Statham fight scene at the end, most likely, and any scene with The Rock in it, but that's a bias because I think The Rock is one of my favorite people, at least actors, living today. And just the whole movie is just a pure blast to watch. I cannot recommend it enough. I think everyone should see it, even if people who hated the original Fast and Furious movies. This is like, you can argue it's just more mainstream action, but I think it's action that's really well handled. Like, this is basically what the Transformers movies are trying to be, but just aren't. The first one more likely, because the first Transformer movie is actually pretty good. This is what I think most blockbuster movies are trying to be, but just for some reason aren't getting, because they just aren't, well crafted enough. They're not as well directed. They have directors who just don't really care. The actors in them normally don't care. This one, you can just tell everyone is having fun. More action movie directors need to take notes from this, because this is a really, really well done action set piece film. You don't go into it, like I said, thinking of like some art house film or something like that. You just go in, you say, you know what, I'm going to have a good time, and you're going to have a good time. I don't give review scores for movies anymore, but just know with my enthusiasm that I'm giving this the highest recommendation that I can. Anyways, I'm the Fit Nerd. I hope you enjoyed my review, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace.